Fans, welcome to Watchdogs Live, Beersford High School for this pregame show. We apologize, a technical difficulty. We had some coaches' interviews and things ready to go. Again, just ran into a little bit of a technical trouble up here tonight. But we are live and up and going here before kickoff. Again, those just tuning in or new to Watchdogs.live. Jared Olson on the call, joined by Jeff Boom. So, Jeff, again, welcome back the second time today.
Well, it's great to be here. Once again, we do a little bit of drizzle, but we've got a good turnout. It's homecoming. The environment and the electricity is here definitely tonight. So it's going to be a fun night of football, and I'm excited to be here and cover this game.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. Like you said, just a light drizzle. Pretty cool presentation. We've got the military flags on the far side of the field as our spectators are looking at it. Booster Club and the class of '88. This is where our youth football players brought out the giant flag on the field as part of the homecoming festivities. Parade and everything went on today, and, of course, the big Hall of Fame banquet induction ceremony tomorrow night. In the second quarter, Jeff, we will be joined by a special guest, and then we also have another guest in the third quarter as well. So fans, tune in there. We do have some interviews, recorded prior to this. We talked to head coach Scott Ebert and the captains on the squad, and we also talked to Coach Flanagan from the Orioles. All intended to be part of the pregame show. Again, unfortunately, we just didn't quite get to it as the technical difficulties. We will try to slide those in at a quarter break and or at halftime. So, again, kind of hang in there with us, people. We'll do things out of order, but we will get those interviews since they were recorded and the people took the time with us. We'll get them on as part of the broadcast a little bit later. So, Jeff, coin flip. Lennox is coming off a big win against Custer. Watchdogs coming off a big win against Flandreau. Homecoming night. All that fun stuff. You remember a game with some weather that you had to do in the past?
Yep, sure do. I just think back in my high school career, very similar type of weather, a little more rain, a game up in Flandreau. This isn't something you practice in on a daily basis, but it's part of football. It's an outdoor sport. Personally, I like it when it's a little cooler. I like to call it hitting weather. So I think tonight we're going to see some physical games. We don't have to worry about heat, cramps, those types of things. So I think this will be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, this is our first week maybe getting out of that heat that you referenced. Extra timeouts, getting the hydration, the cramp issue. We should be through that hopefully tonight. Really nice day, and we should have some good football. Lennox did elect to receive the ball in the first half, so they're going to take the ball. Again, we didn't get to the pregame interview with Coach Ebert and kind of what he was going to talk about, but if you watched anything of Lennox football this year with a new head coach, Sean Flanagan, or what Coach Ebert was going to tell us is you're going to see a fresh play every 18 to 22 seconds. They will no huddle. They're going to shoot, instead of teams 40 to 50 plays, they're going to try to get 75, 80, 90 plays into the game offensively.
Yeah, and I think that's their goal here. I think you talked about it earlier. I don't know if we were on the broadcast, but our identity has kind of fallen into our defense. And so we're in a rotation a lot of times with our the guys that are on the field to stay on the field. If you find some mismatches, you can really take advantage of those. So I really like to see how Beersford responds to this quick gauged and running a lot of plays here tonight with Lennox.
Kickoff for the Watchdogs does roll out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Flag does fly because of that, and we'll see what the Orioles elect to do here with their first drive, and they will play most of their players one side of the ball and then the other. Couple kids will play both directions, but their guys will be fresh. They've got an offensive squad and a defensive squad, and as they come out on offense, their offensive squad is led by number 4, Boston Katzer, the junior quarterback, 6'4", 195 pounds. He's back in the gun, 2 spread right, 2 left. You're going to see a mixture ground game, but they do have the ability to throw the ball, and they do like to get it up in the air.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting about Lennox. So as you just mentioned, probably doing a little more of one side of the ball, but you'll notice on the roster there's only 8 seniors and 10 juniors. They're a young team.
Katzer gets the one-armed snap, eludes a rusher, finds a receiver open. That is number 3. We knew that was going to be trouble. Porter Enan, the senior wide receiver, 6'5", 215 pounds. Porter Enan torched Custer last week. We knew he was going to see some balls. Coach Flanagan comes out first play of the game in a little drizzle and into the wind. Cats are to Enon.
Yep, and it looks like to me that the weather's not going to matter to them. They're probably going to come out today, running the shotgun. They're running wide. They're going to spread us out, try to throw the football around. There's another example of it right there.
Little screen out to the right. Nice initial contact by Delay, but that is number 30 for the Orioles, Drake Mickelson. He's a freshman wide receiver, 6'4", 185 pounds. 2 plays. What do we got here? 30 seconds, 2 plays, and the Orioles are on the board.
And so if you look at this team, the size that they have is on the outside. It's their quarterback. It's their wide receivers. They are not big and physical like the teams that we've seen in the past. Lennox is going to have a little smaller line than what we see in this 11A. So what do? In order to not run the football, spread you out wide, and they're going to throw the football, get it out to their athletes in open space. And this last touchdown that we just saw, 1, not a great tackling effort. Number 2, good effort on the part of number 30 to take it to the house. But this is a great way to, when you see that you got a weakness on the offensive line, that you can't go push people around, get the ball to the outside and let your athletes play.
2-point conversion was no good. It was handed off to number 14, Tristan Butler, senior running back, 5'9", 180 pounds. So with 30 seconds off the clock, Lennox Orioles 6, Beersford Watchdogs 0. This is, as I talked to maybe a couple of the coaches throughout the week, exactly what they didn't want to see. They want to see this thing slow down, keep themselves in the game defensively, not let Lennox throw up, a ton of plays and get where they want to get in that 90, 100 player range. So Dogs are going to get the ball now, going to have to control it, get some first downs, chew some clock, and try to put a score up themselves now.
Well, and if we stay on this path, they're not going to have to run a lot of plays, because if you can do this in 2 or 3, that's just not a good start. And this team right now, we have to figure out how to respond to this. You cannot get down 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. You'll start to get in the psyche of these players. You start saying, oh boy, here we go again. We got to figure out a way to respond here positively, whether it's several first downs, and hopefully it wasn't a turnover right there. But we got to get some first downs, get some points on the board, let Lennox know that we're not asleep behind the wheel tonight and we're here to play some football.
All right, it maybe shows, Lennox lack of fear of our offense at this point. Again, you just score with 30 seconds off the clock. Yes, there's a wet ground. You can see the mist falling in the lights. Kicking off for the Orioles was Wyatt Bolt, the sophomore. Onside kick, got away from our first guy that touched it. Luckily, we got on it, but it was close. We almost turned it over.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was, it looked like it was intentional. I don't know if they were anticipating that we weren't going to be able to get on that. Maybe they're trying to catch us by surprise, but it didn't. We recovered it. And maybe it's just one of those things. Hey, let's see if we can get an early start. It is their homecoming. They're going to be jacked up. Let's see if we can get the ball back in our hands. And you talked about it. They want to run a lot of plays. How do you run a lot of plays? Have the ball in your hands.
Watchdogs get good field position. I mean, that was the one thing with whether it was accidental or on purpose. They're getting the ball at about the midfield here. It was their own 46. 3-yard direct snap to Stennon, and he carries it out to about the 49. So pickup of, we'll call it short 3, so 2nd and a long 7 here for the Dogs.
And so here we're in shotgun. Last week we saw our quarterback a little bit more under center. And this is one that we're looking to look a little bit more like we did in the previous weeks, where we do a direct snap to a running back and then try to get the edge. And unfortunately this year, we haven't had a ton of success with that. And I get why you continue to try it. You want a big play, but we just haven't had the speed to get those corners, turn it. Play a smaller team like Flandreau, it works. Play a bigger team like this, we just don't have that extra gear to make big plays getting around the edge.
Valder was kind of looking off tackler on the end there. He did bump it wide out to the left, came on the near side, picked up, we'll call it 2, so it's 3rd and 5 here for the Dogs. In under center is the freshman quarterback. Play action, is going to roll out to the right, it's got a receiver. That is number 26, Gavel Valder. They've seemed to work well the little bit they've had a chance to connect. Valder did a nice job settling in, got his feet, kind of slipped a little bit, but made sure he caught the ball first, got the first down.
Yeah, Gavel probably bailed him out a little bit on that one. The ball was kind of behind. Unfortunately, he was able to catch it. Slipped, but Lennox put some nice pressure on Ashton. He handled it well, delivered the ball. And so I don't think that this Lennox team is going to back off from trying to get penetration this entire game. So he's going to have his hands full in the backfield.
Okay, handoff, pile of people here.
Up the middle, met by a host of Orioles.
That was, is that Watkins on the carry?
I believe that was Robert. And see, this is the type of drive that we've been looking for all year. Playing a good quality opponent, 1st and 10. This is what we talked about weeks ago. Let's get ahead of the chains. When you can get 3-4 yards in those first 2 plays, puts you in a great position to either run it or pass it on 3rd down. It makes it a little bit easier to convert. So let's see what we pull up, dial up on this play. Let's see if we can get another 3-4 yards out of this.
Coming out of that might have actually been Valder. This one goes to Stenin, met behind the line of scrimmage.
Stenin on the carry, on the tackle is Benny.
On the defense there was number 41 and 55. 41 is Jevin Leafers, and 55 Dominic DeBoer.
You know, and if you watch the Lennox, you know, they're running. They got 4 guys on the line. They'll kind of bring a linebacker up. They'll have a 5-man front at times, and so you know if you look at this as a matchup, you've got 5 offensive linemen, 5 defensive linemen. Everybody has to make their block in that instance, and that's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, big nose tackle there for the Orioles, number 75, Journey Noisy Hawk Ellis Jr., 6'2" at 250 pounds.
I think that was a catch.
Watchdogs do complete that out to the right side. That went to the receiver out there, number 7, Jax Fickbaum, the junior, 5'8", 145 pounds. Pick up about 5 there. It's going to leave him in, you know, not great, but manageable 4th down here. 4th and 5, wind at your back. You're on the Orioles' 37-yard line. They are going to go into punt formation. Levi Fitzgerald back in punt formation. Assuming the thought here is let's pin him or try to pin him deep. No, direct snap that gets away. Tried to do a trick play there. Direct snap got away from the Dogs. So they will turn it over on downs. Orioles 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
You know, it's a good position probably to try that run trick play, but one, you have to execute, obviously, and that didn't happen. And number 2, when you're on your 37, you know, if I'm a special teams coach, my ears are perked up a little bit saying, are you truly want to punt this? You've got yourself in our territory. Do you really want to give us the ball? You know, would it have worked if we had executed? You know, potentially, but gosh, it's just those little things like that have really stubbed our toe all year, and there's just another example of just missing something that maybe would have worked there to get us momentum.
Katzer has Enan in the backfield, resets the formation. Enan went up in the slot position, went down the field and broke back to the pass. Gain of about 6, short 7 on the pass connection from Katzer to Enan.
And so we've already seen this 3 plays in a row. Katzer obviously has a very good arm, very talented. He had a lot of pressure coming right up the middle, handled it, delivered the ball. You know, we have to probably determine here at some point, are we able to handle some of the receivers in a zone? Do we have to go man-to-man? We can't let these guys just run all over the football field.
Here's Enan in motion. He was double-teamed, almost triple-teamed right in John DeLay's hands. Unfortunately dropped it, but they had 2 guys on Enan's hip. DeLay slid in and saw him looking that direction. 3 Watchdogs converged on it. Again, I know he's beating himself up, but we were in position.
Yep, he got himself in position. You got to make the interception when those chances are there. This game will be very unforgiving at times when you don't make those turnovers when they're handed to you. But you've seen there where Katzer got locked in, really wanted to deliver the ball to the same receiver, and we were definitely talking about, we just had mentioned about double teaming potentially a wide receiver. We were doing all of that on that particular field with Enan, and so we see his favorite target. We're just going to have to continue to really keep our eyes on Enan.
That time, finally a run play. 14, Tristan Butler gets the run. In on the stop for the Watchdogs was Cohen Shirk and Seth James. 4th and about 3. Orioles going for it.
Maybe trying to get him to jump. I don't know if Lennox is convinced yet that they want to run a play here yet. If they do, boy, this is quite a statement. It says a lot about their confidence. And one, can they convert? And if they don't, are they okay with giving us the ball?
Katzer with the snap, QB draw. He is grabbed and pulled backwards at the line of scrimmage. Initial contact. Is that Cooper Nelson? Yes, number 75. Cooper Nelson not only grabbed him, pulled him backwards instead of tackling him, pushing him to the south or forwards. You know, we talk about Katzer, Jr., 6'4", 195 pounds. Great play by Cooper Nelson to grab him and push him backwards instead of trying to tackle him forwards.
And on that type of play, I'm sure Boston Catzer knew where that first down marker was, so it wasn't like he was just going, well, I've got a bunch of yards out in front of me I got to get. Head down, ready to go. Excellent open field tackle by Nelson, and those are the types of big plays that we come up with that's going to keep us in this game.
Okay, Oberle under center, hands off to Stennon, fighting for maybe a yard short to bring up 2nd and 9 for the Watchdogs.
Tough sledding on that run. Multiple Orioles coming up to make the play. And we're going to see quite a bit of that tonight. This is, once again, these are our opportunities to get those 3 to 4 yards per crack. So hopefully on this one, we're going to need a 5-yard to really put us in a good position to give us a lot of options on what we're going to do on 3rd down if we don't get a first down here.
Yeah, look at them load up the box here, Jeff.
They know, they understand what we are. We like to run the ball in most cases, and when you see them load the box like that, you hope you got something up your sleeve that gives them a wrinkle, gives them a different look, change some things up, put them back on their heels, because right now they're not worried about our run game when they're loaded up in the box like that.
Initial contact defensively for the Orioles was number 5, Ethan Larson, the senior, 6 foot, 165 pounds off that right side. Made the Watchdog running back cut it back up a little bit, slipped, short gain here, so it's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Dogs. Oberle is under center.
Well,
pressure was there. He got it off. It's a jump ball.
It's a little unfortunate. Swagan got out. He started down the field, about 10 yards down. He got a little bit of a tug on the jersey. Defending on that play, I believe, was Tate Gertis. I'm not sure, but I think he thought, well, hey, I'm beat. I'm going to pull a little bit on his arm and his jersey, and the refs just didn't see it. Probably got away with one, but you know what? Doesn't matter. There's no laundry on the field. The fact of the matter is it turned into an incomplete, and we're going to be punting the ball away.
All right, clock has been kind of ticking prior to that pass. It is 6-0. Lennox Orioles lead. 4:26 to go in the opening quarter. Again, those tuning in, Jared Olson, Jeff Boom. Orioles did jump across. Watchdogs did sneak them into that encroachment zone. Not going to be enough for a first down.
Well, this makes it interesting, right? If I'm Beersford, I'm probably going back out with my offense. We just showed we could stop him. First drive, obviously. Let's throw that one out. 2 plays and a touchdown. Now we're in a position where maybe we want to run the ball here. I think that's your safest bet, but we'll see. Once again, sometimes here you just got to throw a little wrinkle out there. Let's run something that they haven't seen, or do something that maybe they're not prepared for. Play action pass, maybe give Oberle an opportunity to either run it or throw it. Would be a good option here. He is a little smaller, and you want to protect him, but on the same token, I think that he's the type of kid that he could get out to the edges and pick up those 2 yards if you need them, or he's able to deliver the ball. So, it's young, but give him an opportunity to make a play, and let's see how he responds to that.
Yeah, it was 4th and 7, 5 yards off of that. We're approximately 4th and 2. It would have been at the Orioles 40, 5-yard line. Now it's at their own 40. And, again, the Watchdogs send out their offensive unit. Lennox Orioles coaching staff wants to take a minute and talk about this 4th down play, so they take a timeout. Both squads back out here again now.
And right here, you don't necessarily need to run a play. If you're not really confident in what you're going to do, this is another opportunity to hard count, see if you can jump off sides, pick up another cheap first down. And then you can come back in and punt, take the 5-yard penalty. But it feels to me like we're really going to go for this. It's homecoming. Let's just go for it. Grind it up.
Right behind the blockers. It's going to be close. I think he's maybe there. It's going to be close.
Looks like he did.
The official on the far side of the field appears to be maybe just a little closer to the action and indicating it's maybe there. Yeah, signal is first down. So good call by the coaches. Again, it's always easy to say after the fact, good call. But, again, some confidence in the back to take that thing. The guys up the middle to get the 2 yards. That is really encouraging for the Dogs here as they're early in the wrap up the first quarter here.
And that's why those guys are on the sideline. They know these players better than I do. Of course, I was calling for a rollout, an option to pass or run. They run it right up the gut, and, of course, it works. But that's just having confidence in your line and your running backs. And, once again, it's homecoming. These kids know it. They're fired up. why not take it right to them? So really proud of what they did right there.
That was Fick bomb, gain of about 1 on the play. Maybe it's close to a short 2. Kind of reference homecoming again. You kind of break things out. We haven't hit. The Watchdogs are wearing their special ops blacks here. Not something they break out very often, but homecoming night, wherever the decision was made, they've got their purple pants and black set of tops kind of for some special events that they do. Oberly back under center, 2nd and 9. Motion was from Stennen, but we do have a flag, most likely motion.
Right now you can tell that they're preparing for the run. If you looked where they were set up this time, they were 6 wide on the line. So essentially they've got more people than we can block. Or I shouldn't say necessarily as our line, how many we have to block, but you've got 6 to contend with. Running back's going to have to block an outside linebacker. And all you have to do is look in the middle. We've got Journey Noisy Hawk Ellis there in the middle. Large, physical player, got him in there real close to the ball.
Let's jump in here. Let's take a look. 2 substitutions. In came Tegan Nyhog and I believe also number 11, Malachi James. 2 more receiver type. And off come maybe a couple more, maybe running back blocking type. So let's see what maybe that means.
Yeah, this is going to be more of a passing formation and personnel. Potentially they're trying to do a hook and ladder. You could see where Jack Stennen started to kind of wrap around. I personally don't love that play. There's too many things with the ball leaving other players' hands. I think that's what we're going to try to do. But it's 2nd long. We do want it to. We talked about a wrinkle, something like that. I'd like to see something a little bit more consistent. You're asking for a lot. Ball has to be right on. Catch has to be made. Pitch has to be perfect. The person has to be right there to pick it up, and then hope you don't fumble somewhere in the middle of that. So, now we're a little bit more of that desperation, 3rd and long distance. So here, I don't think we're fooling anybody. We're definitely going to be throwing the ball unless we're just going to. Yeah, just kind of give it up.
3rd and 13, 3rd and 14 on the board. A little counter action inside, and that was met by the big guy, number 55. That is a Dominic DeBoer, the senior, 5'11", 195 pounds. Again, tried a little misdirection. We see the swap of personnel, and Levi Fitzgerald's back into punt formation.
Well, we're so far we've got punting with the wind, which is good. We've seen Fitzgerald be able to pin somebody back in the corner here every once in a while, so we'll see if that's what we've got on tap.
Gets it down there, does just get a little too deep. It took a big left bounce. Hey, when we go to a quick commercial break, Owen Hieronymus back in the booth helping us on production. Owen, take us to a quick commercial. We'll be right back with more football action.
Classics Lounge in downtown Beersford is your destination for fun with darts,
all right,
pool,
just one, and we'll come back in.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
All right, fans, welcome back. First play there for the
Macy Courtier. I want to thank my parents for supporting me in all of my sports, for always showing up and pushing me to do my
All right,
best.
Watchdogs take over 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line. Again, Orioles lead 6-0. 32 seconds to go here in this opening quarter.
We were able to run in a
sliding in kind of last minute on the left side here is for the Watchdogs. Now the defense is going to readjust. Tegan Nyhog.
Yep, nice defensive stand by Beersford. You know, now we got the ball back in business, 40-yard line, good field position.
That is Robert Watkins breaking free from a few tackles before he is finally met by a host of Orioles. But that's a good first down gain there for Watchdogs and Watkins. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
What'll happen here? You know, you'll every once in a while you'll have some success in the running game. Sometimes you won't. You can hear fans saying, "Hey, come on, line, you got to block." Hey, this is sometimes blocks are made, and the running back can miss a hole. They also have to have a lot of effort when you're running the ball, and that was a good example of line did their job, running back did his job, and to get those extra yards, it requires that little extra effort.
Jeff, that was the end of the first quarter. Orioles lead 6-0. We are getting a few communications via text, Jeff, that we're losing audio from time to time, but kind of on the replay behind us, we are catching it from time to time. So fans, if you are experiencing some audio issues, just bear with us. Again, Jeff, we're going to keep calling the game, and we will keep working on some of these details, but again, we'll just kind of keep calling and bringing it here. Again, if you could look, 6-0, end of the first quarter, after the first 3 plays, I think if you're a Watchdogs fan or a coach, here you're looking saying, boy, we're pretty fortunate to only be down 6-0 the way this started.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate we started off that first drive, 2 plays and gave up 6, but I get it. Lennox is 3-1, we're 1-3. But if you look at the wins, those wins that they had, none of them were, let's say, against winning football teams so far. So, but they are W's. So there is 3-1 is better than 1-3, but they haven't had a lot of convincing wins either. So this seems like the type of team that could be a little vulnerable. And Beersford right now is definitely in a position where they need a team that's a little vulnerable to see if we can take advantage of it. Right there, I'd like to maybe see us start throwing the ball a little bit more and see if we can get some points on the board.
Yeah, Orioles pick up a win week 1 versus Chamberlain, who is currently 2-2. Second week, thriller, they almost lost that one. Coach Flanagan talked about it in his interview. One that they just didn't play really well, but they sneak out of there with a win over Vermilion, and Vermilion's 1-3 on the season. They lose a tough one to Canton in the Black and Blue Bowl, and then they pick up a big victory versus the 0-4 Custer squad.
I would like to thank my parents, Jeremy and Chris Carlson.
Okay, a little option to the right. Defense is there for the Orioles.
My favorite memory from dance
popping up out of there is number 85, Nathaniel Haar.
I want to thank my parents, Dale and Sally Noter, for always.
Looks like we'll be bringing out the punt team again. At some point in this game, hopefully we get a boomer punt, or we get something here. We get a nice roll, get Lennox back and deep in their territory, make them go the distance on the field if they're going to try to put points up on us. At some point here, you want to try win this field position battle, and right now it just seems to be we're just kind of swapping the ball over back and forth over the 50-yard line.
Orioles bring the pressure.
Nice punt.
Does get it away. That's kind of that high spiraler that you were talking about. Fair catch was called for and made there by number 8, Braden Harmelink, the junior, 5'9", 145 pounds.
I want to thank my parents for supporting
just getting going here in the second quarter. We do have our special guest. He's getting into the booth here.
Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
We're maybe still having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we will continue to kind of work on that before we kind of hop into our visit.
And enjoy some time together as a team. I have many memories with this team, and we'll miss it a ton.
All right, Orioles 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line.
Thank you to my mom and dad for.
Little screenplay out to the right. The ball was dropped, called incomplete. It was not a backwards pass.
And you might be saying, well, what the heck? We watched those first couple plays. Lennox just seems to kind of have our number, and now they just seem to be sputtering a little bit. What happens is a lot of times when you start a football game out, you script plays. You know what you're going to run prior to getting into the game. And a lot of times they have success. the defense gets a chance to see some of these plays that they haven't seen before. They make adjustments, and this just might be what we're seeing a little bit right now.
All right, Orioles look out to the far right side. Again, elude a few tacklers over there before finally being brought down. Gain of about 3 on the plate will bring up third and 7 for the Orioles.
You know, and there's one right there. Should have had a loss. Missed tackles. You have a team like this, tightly contested game. You get a ball, it's pitched out there to the perimeter. It's a one-on-one matchup. You got to win those one-on-ones in order to get yourself in a 3rd and long versus a 3rd and 6.
All right, 3rd and 7 here. Katzer fakes it, rolls out, does find Zach Gertis, breaks the tackle, gains the first down.
And there's one right there, another example, one-on-one matchup. Defensively, we've got to step up. You've got to make those one-on-one tackles, especially when you've got an offensive player that's basically standing there with his back to you. You got to come in and be wildly aggressive and cut someone down like that and get them on the ground and turn that ball over.
Boston Katzer looking around, fake the handoff. He is looking for receiver pressure, does come, and he is going to be brought down by 2 Watchdogs.
We are able to run in a blizzard,
Swim the pile. Cooper Nelson,
stay in a cabin, and enjoy some time together.
Seth James and Cohen Shirk were all there to kind of bring Katzer down finally.
Yep, and those are what you call coverage sacks. Quarterback's can't really find anywhere to go with the ball. Continues to kind of float around back there, and eventually time just runs out. The defensive lineman eventually can get past their blocks. Quarterback puts himself in a position, and we got the stop, got the sack. Just missed a sack there.
That is Seth James' initial contact. Robert Watkins was there as well. Big loss, good coverage downfield, so we'll give the DB some credit. Katzer was rolling around out there and had all kinds of time, eluding tacklers. 3rd and long for the Orioles. Big defensive opportunity here for the Dogs.
So now you got a decision to make. Are you going to sit back and be conservative, try to kind of fill up the whole defensive backfield with players, or do you send more than what they have to block? Try to get a sack here. Looks like right now we're just going to rush 4 or 5. And Lennox is probably going to convert here. It looks like they have.
All right, 3rd and long. Watchdogs do appear to give up the first down. Signal and the chains are moving. We're going to kind of jump in here. Again, those listening, we are experiencing a little bit of audio difficulties. We are joined, Jeff, by Dave Dolan. So, Dave, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jared and Jeff.
All right, we're going to just do a little bit of a sound check here as we kind of bring in a new microphone, and we'll kind of keep visiting. David, you're in town because of your Hall of Fame induction into the Watchdog Hall of Fame.
I want to thank my parents for supporting
probably more about your career, and it's an accumulation of work done. Maybe talk through a little bit of what that journey's been like.
My favorite memory from
Well,
my
first
time
off,
with
I've
the
been very
cross-country
appreciative
team
and
would be going to
thankful
state
for
cross-country my
the
sophomore year in
recognition that
Rapid
I've been
City.
given.
We were able
I've
to
had
run in
I've had a
blizzard,
career
eat
over
at
the
our
course of the
favorite
last
restaurant, stay in a
basically
cabin,
41
enjoy
that
some
has
time
been
together as a
exciting.
team.
There's been ups,
I have
there's been
many
downs,
memories
there's
with
been
this
highs,
team,
there's
and
been
we'll miss
lows.
it a ton.
But one thing we always
How do
try
you
to do is next day,
I
next
wanna say
play,
thank
next
you to my
whatever,
mom and
moving
dad
forward.
for
And so
supporting me
I've had the opportunity to coach some of the best.
and my
But also
favorite
some of those athletes needed to have a supporting cast around them, and that's what we kind of prided ourselves in, is bringing everybody up to another level. Track and field is probably where I had the most success as far as state championships and in the contention. But football, we got best kicker in the NFL ever, Adam Vinatieri. Had him as an athlete way back in the early 90s with Kim Nelson from Sioux Falls, Roosevelt. And had the opportunity to referee Becky Hammond, who's making a name for herself in the NBA and the WNBA and everything else. So I've been around a lot, from the officiating to the coaching to been involved both at the local, state, and national level as far as the Coaches Association, have been actively involved.
All right, great. Again, you just kind of reference an accumulation of a career, and we'll hear more of that tomorrow. So those who want to be part of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, big play here from the Orioles. They're going to get down into Watchdogs territory. 1st and 10 Orioles. Dave, you've summed it up pretty well. It's about opportunities, experiences, relationships with kids, relationships with other coaches, officials, and before you know it, you snap your fingers and it's kind of done and over.
It went very fast. I went to school every day. I didn't really go to work. I liked what I did from the teaching and coaching standpoint. Always look for ways for kids to be successful. Even in track and field, I said, give me 3 weeks. Give me a meet and give me 3 weeks to get you in shape, and I'll try and find you some success. And if you don't like it, you can tell your parents I kicked you off. Give them an easy out for that. But so I gotta have them. I keep asking until they graduate, and then after that, I guess we're done. But had a lot of good athletes that went through the system. Some of the things are when I walk through town or walk around. Hey, coach. I mean, I played in a golf tournament last week, and the kid goes, "Hey, coach, good to see you. How's things going?" And I'm looking, and I mean, he's probably 40 years old. I got to think of this. And it took me a while, but I came up with his name later on. Had him. He was a good kid, worked hard, enjoyed the time, probably 4 or 5 years, because I coached middle school, so I got to see him from 6th grade all the way to be seniors. And we've had some that have gone on to collegiate careers and had some pretty good careers at that. So,
all right, so tomorrow night you'll be inducted officially into the Watchdog Hall of Fame. The program starts at 7 o'clock. Anybody from the community can show up at 7, no charge to take part in that. It will also be streamed on watchdogs.live. Is the speech written?
It is. I've had about 4 or 5 drafts. I've got a couple things. I was excited today to go through the parade. I coached with passion. I reffed with passion. I liked what I did and tried to find the good things. Had to work on the things that were negative, but always tried to work on the positive things that we did. So when they left that night, they knew that I cared and I loved them. That was the bottom line.
Yeah,
I cared about them. So my wife always hated to go to the grocery store because a 10-minute trip could be 45 minutes to an hour as I'm talking to parents or talking to kids, and just let them know that I'm there and I care.
You talk about coaching and the commitment and what it means, and you reference your wife and family. There's a lot of nights and suppers that you missed. But then to jump in and also be an official, and let's talk about what that means and the need where high school sports is at, in need of officials, youth sports, and a little bit about your officiating career and just maybe how you carried that on so long and how you could maybe encourage others to give it a try.
Took a class down at USD when I was there. They gave us $5 to do the B games because they didn't want to, and we thought it was great. So I started from there and then moved up. I actually did from middle school all the way to some lower level professional games throughout my career. I enjoyed that. That was a way for me to give back. It started out, it was a great way of extra revenue, extra income, and then I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but didn't need it. I liked this game of basketball. I enjoyed it. I'd probably still be doing it if I had 2 knees that were still functional. So got those replaced, and it was time for basketball to be over. But it was 35 years. I did 32 state tournaments, 16 finals, mostly in the AA. Probably the only team I didn't do that I wanted to was Beersford. We had something set up and weather came in probably when Jim Sorensen was still. And I didn't even call him Jim until about I was 55 or 56. It was always Coach Sorensen. So when I hear the word coach, I have a lot of respect for that.
You referenced Coach Sorensen. You will join him in the Hall of Fame. So again, a pretty big accomplishment. It is third and a lot here for the Orioles. Watchdogs have really dodged one here in this defensive series. So we typically do this when we bring somebody on. What Jeff and I have both found, our range of listeners and followers ages from here to here. So we kind of do introductions. I maybe should have let in with that. What is your graduating year from Beersford High School?
I graduated in 1977 from Beersford, went to University of South Dakota, played football for 5 years. I was kind of the exception with the redshirt year in there. So I got an opportunity to start. Jim Steen, my good friend, and I went down there together, and we were still best of friends to this day. And then from USD, I went to Rapid City. Always thought I'd come back, and I'm 41 years later. I'm still there.
The Orioles do score 4th and 15. They do throw a fade over to the far corner, score a touchdown. So Orioles 12, Watchdogs 0. Dave, let's kind of keep this going. Some of our listeners are going to maybe recognize you by your siblings' names. So run through your siblings and where they're at.
Brother J.K. or Joe, sisters Ann, Ellen, Deb, and Sarah.
Okay, a lot of Watchdog
connections. A lot of Watchdogs.
There's
6 of us. If Sarah would have been a boy, we'd have been the Brady Bunch.
All right, and then we're going to have a group of listeners who will know who you are by your parents. So parents.
Robert and Sally Dolan have lived. Dad lived in Beersford his entire life. Mom moved here after they got married. Moved here, and been here. My brother still lives in the old farmhouse right out 3rd Street at the top of the hill. So that's been in the family for, I think it's over 100 years now. So it's a century home.
You know, I enjoy the game of golf. Time doesn't let me play as many rounds as I want, but I get to play quite a bit of golf. And the Bridges, facility that we have here is top notch for a community our size. The housing development, Jeff, you live in it. You know, when I play golf, David, and I get over to hole 6 and I transition over to hole 7, the par 3. There's really a simple bench there. It says Bob Dolan, a true visionary. When you come back to visit and you see what the old farm place was and what it is now, and what the Dolan family did to the community to have what we have now, maybe talk on behalf of the family what that means to you guys.
Well, Dad had a vision. He always believed in progress, and he saw this as a place Beersford could grow. If there's a better 9-hole course in the state, I want to go play it, because this is absolutely unbelievable of what they have done here for Beersford. When he started, he put the Catholic Church, went in over there, gave a little bit of land over to the Lutheran Church on the corner, and the rest filled in. But I got to give Bedco, along with Dad, the vision that we can grow this, we can make Beersford a great place for people to live and raise a family. So he liked progress. He wasn't ready with status quo. He really saw that as a absolute potential. Whether it ever gets to an 18-hole course, who knows? But I know we have some stuff that probably could make it work.
Yeah, got to be a lot of pride for your mom yet, living still out on the course, on the curve there. Again, you referenced your dad and your mom. I mean, the family members. It's hard to look at that list of names and not realize the commitment to education as well. Talk maybe a little bit about your mom has volunteered more hours than a person could probably count for our school district. Your dad worked, I believe, into his 70s.
He put 50 years into teaching,
I want to thank my parents, Lisa and Eric,
part and full-time. In Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls, Washington was his home. As far as schools, he lived and died with the Warriors and the Beersford Watchdogs. And Mom stayed home until all of us were in school, and then she went and she was a speech pathologist for the area here. I remember walking and my siblings walking some of the special needs kids to school because they'd come in the morning to help with their speech pathology. So it was something that we just believed. I think probably the bottom line is what they gave to us was service. How do we serve others? And by being a good servant, you're a pretty good leader at that. So
and again, family members, whether they're part of the Booster Club, donating time to other civic and church, Lions Club organization. Deb works in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, Deb was she was on the Lions Club. She's on the school board. She's actively involved here. You talk about Mom. She was serving pork loin sandwiches tonight at the over there underneath.
The Watchdog Foundation did their tailgate feed tonight, their annual fundraiser during homecoming week. Again, just the impact that your family's had, and again, great opportunity for you to be recognized this week and tomorrow night. So, David, really special opportunity. We really appreciate you making a few moments here on Watchdogs Live.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we'll be there, and let's go Dogs.
Let's go Dogs.
All right, thanks again to David Dolan for joining us here on the broadcast, part of the second quarter. He has to go down to near the track because he's going to be recognized with the other inductees at halftime here. So, Jeff, we kind of broke in and gave that the Orioles scored. There's 3:30 to go here in the 3:30 to go in the second quarter. Orioles 12, Watchdogs 0. Watchdogs are fourth and about 3 here. They're bringing out the punt squad.
Yeah, during the interview there, we had them backed up 4th and 15. Good opportunity there to get off the field, and unfortunately, gave up 6 points. And this has kind of been a little bit of the theme of what we've seen here this year, and I don't know why at home we seem to struggle to get it, but this might just be the fortuitous bounce we need.
Get on it. Tons of Watchdogs there. It's got to be Watchdogs ball.
Gotta be Watchdogs ball.
Yeah, signal is Watchdogs. First and goal from the 10-yard line.
And these are definitely the opportunities. This is why you play the game. You're down You don't typically expect you're going to end up with a football on a punt, but when you do, this is the opportunity to capitalize. We cannot run status quo plays here. We've proven that this isn't going to churn out first downs tonight. So, let's see what we have up our sleeve. Let's see if we can convert here, not leave this up to the dramatics of 3 or 4 downs. Let's see if we can get one on the board here in 1 or 2 plays.
Ball was placed on the 11, so it's 1st and 10 from the 11. Oberle under center, hands it off to Watkins. He breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles. Just short on the goal line. Robert Watkins breaking tackles, B-move, spinning that around in there. And we've got his family right in front of us again. They're excited. Watchdogs 1st and goal.
Really good vision there, Robert. He got up into the hole. Looked like it was going to be stopped short again for another yard or so. He hits, kind of bumps into the back of him, moves his way to the left, spins off a tackle, finds some extra yards. That is really good vision by a running back. When the hole's not there, find where that crease is at, and he certainly did.
Oberle under center, hands it off to Watkins. He's in for a touchdown. 2:03 on the clock. Watchdogs bring the score. Orioles 12, Watchdogs 6. Again, Jared Olson, Jeff Boom on the call here. 2:03 before half, and coming in for the extra point attempt here is Peyton Hoffman.
I'm glad to see that they gave it back to Robert, after a great effort on that. You hate
only a 15-yard penalty is only going to put them out to their own 45.
Yep, and you don't want to get too grabby and desperate, and that won't happen if you can keep them, on the in front of you. Don't let these, the hook and ladder type of play, the gimmicky kind of play. Don't let that come back and bite you. Keep everything in front of you. Drop way back. I'd even like to see the DBs we have right now even another 5 or 10 yards back. Let them take we're just going to run the ball here. So, surprised they didn't just take a knee.
Okay, yeah, the Oriole coaching staff through all that decides to hand it off to their fullback, number 14, Tristan Butler. That is halftime. Orioles 12, Watchdogs 7. This is really kind of a weird game that's played out. Lennox scores in 3 plays in 30 seconds. Watchdogs hang in there, and we kind of go back and forth. Really, again, both sides playing pretty good defense, giving up a couple first downs, but then getting the stop. And then Watchdogs do get a fortunate break with the punt that got away from the Orioles, and they get it 1st and goal from the Orioles 11. They punch it in. And then, again, the Orioles kind of had 4th and 15, and they throw a little wheel route over along the sideline and throw it out there, and they connect on that one for a big 4th down conversion and a touchdown. But
yeah, weird is the, I was going to say unusual. Weird works too. It really has been kind of strange. If you're looking at it from Beersford's side, you watch that first opening drive, you're like, oh boy, here we go. It doesn't seem like we have an answer how to stop this. Then all of a sudden we're stopping them. We've even put ourselves in a position it's 4th and 15, but give up a touchdown. Yeah. And just when Lennox feels like they're very comfortable, drop the punt, put us in scoring position, and then all of a sudden we have this amazing running game, and we're able to kind of serve on through. Trade a couple interceptions at the end of the half. No harm, no foul really on either one of those. Nobody was able to really capitalize on either one of those.
All right, Jeff, on the screen, fans, what you're seeing is our Hall of Fame inductees that are able to be here tonight. They are being recognized on the track, and again, tomorrow night at the Bridges of Beersford at 7 p.m. Anybody who wants to show up can. 7 p.m., no charge to attend, just the program part, the induction ceremony portion, no charge. Show up at 7 o'clock, and we'll hear from each of these great individuals and talk about their accomplishments. We were blessed to be joined by David Dolan and took us through kind of his career and why a snapshot of why he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame under the Watchdogs, under the athletics pillar. Jeff, we lost our pregame interviews we had recorded. Again, these people have given us the time, so now we're going to kind of roll into those and let the fans hear from the coaches and players that were part of that. So let's lead off with the Watchdogs recorded interview that we did. Head coach Scott Ebert, and he brought in all of his captains around the table. So again, fans, the audio isn't as good as if we put a mic set on everybody's head with the technology there. It was kind of a microphone in the middle so we could get everybody included in the conversation. So here's head coach Scott Ebert and his captains as part of our pregame interview.
Watchdogs.live pregame show. Pleasure to be joined on the pregame portion here with the Watchdogs. kind of a little special twist on tonight. We're joined by head coach Scott Ebert, but we also have our team captains Jack Finn and Ryan Speg and Robert Watkins, Cooper Nelson, and Seth James. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you making a few time for Dogville Entertainment and Watchdogs Out Live. Defensively, guys, you seem to be kind of finding maybe that's the identity of the Dogs here. Millbank, you were up 3-0 at halftime. Winner, down 12-6, and then Flandreau, final score 27-0. So you squashed the Flyers on that game. Maybe talk a little bit about maybe what the defense has meant to the squad.
Yeah, we really found the groove with defense. I think really, especially first half stuff. Yeah, like you said. 3-0 and Millbank held only field goal, and Winner's got a pretty high-powered, high-scoring offense, and kept them to just 12 at the half. So yeah, and then obviously the shutout at Flanders. So hopefully, get a little more spark to the offense and keep the defense rolling. We got some good turnovers in Winner, got a couple fumbles, so hoping to keep it going.
All right, maybe you let us in there, Robert, with a few thoughts from Flanders, maybe something you other guys kind of step in and. What did we find that we were able to put some points up with Flandreau, and what maybe was kind of rolling that night for us?
Yeah, we started with Winner, and we found our 11 guys that we were going to stick with, and kind of built upon that and stuck to the run game against Flandreau, and definitely benefited off of that. And got a couple new guys in different positions on the offense, but we'll make it do.
It definitely helps that we were able to find a little bit of groove on offense against Flandreau, just to get that confidence when we play a better team like we did this week with Lennox. Just knowing that we can get stuff going on offense and don't have to worry about that being stagnant.
All right, guys, it is homecoming week. You've got your kind of flying gear on. We just finished up a big volleyball match here. You guys kind of went out on the field. So a lot of special things going on within homecoming week. Maybe tell us maybe a couple of your favorite things of homecoming week you really look forward to.
One of the favorite things I look forward to, of course, is the game we play on Friday. That's always a great game and a lot of fans there to get you excited. But also Iron Man is really fun for the guys, and just getting to play with your class and competing against the youngers or olders like last year. But it was always fun having that week.
And I think the powerful football we do, where us guys become the coaches, it gives you a new perspective for football, kind of like what our coaches have to go through with us out on the practice field and stuff, and the great moments when a play comes together how it should. So it's something pretty special.
All right, Jack, we will focus you on get to start with this one. How do you kind of get that focus and mindset, as a leader on the team with so much going on during homecoming week?
Yeah, it's nice to have our Ironman volleyball and powder puff football, but it is important to, stay locked in throughout the week and, watch film and just keep your mind set on winning that football game.
Yeah, I guess you just got to keep focused on what the main goal of the week is. Like the finale of the week is that big football game, and just keeping your mindset set on how you're going to perform in that game, and just the intensity you're going to bring.
Are you guys going to talk about watching film and kind of, locking in and knowing kind of what's coming? Coach Ebert, I had a chance to visit with you just a little bit earlier this afternoon, and, kind of what you saw on film and what Lennox is going to bring. Maybe you can kind of let the fans know maybe what they're going to see at that game, and a couple other guys with kind of what you're seeing in film and kind of what the fans can expect to see at the game tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to see kind of a truly an up-tempo offensive style that we don't see much. Their head coach Sean Flanagan was previously at McCook Central, so we have a decent amount of knowledge of knowing what type of style he likes to run offensively, and now he is the head coach at Lennox in his first year there, and they like to get plays off about anywhere between 18 to 20 seconds, and they stay on the gas.
as much as they possibly can, and they're looking to get as many plays in the game as they can, and it really stresses our defense. In a lot of ways, it's hard to get guys subbed in and out. It's hard to get calls in, just simply because they're not going to huddle and they're going to be able to snap the football really at any moment. So it's hard for us to replicate that. We can't do that in practice. So we do our best to get the call in, get set, and then it's one read and go, and we got to go and try to make a play and ultimately get ourselves off defense and get the ball back to the offense. So.
Yeah, Lennox, they like to stick the passing game a little bit more than other teams usually do. They got some tall kids. They like to spread them out, but I think our defense will be able to handle it pretty well. So I'm confident in the guys this week.
All right, guys, I really appreciate the busy week. Got a lot of stuff going on. Really appreciate you taking a little time for the Watchdogs Out Live pregame show. Best of luck on Friday night.
Thank you.
All right, that was the interview with head coach Scott Ebert and his captain, so we appreciate them taking a little time for us. Again, busy week with homecoming week. Coach is trying to manage all of, I don't want to use the word distractions, but it's all the memories that kids build up to, and it's part of homecoming week. It's the things they'll look back and be excited to be a part of. But again, as the coaches are focusing on what happens Friday night, and then senior Ryan Svegan was maybe the first one to reference it in that interview, is, first and foremost is the Friday night game. We're focused on that. We're trying to enjoy all the other stuff that comes with homecoming. From teachers and administrators, it is one of those weeks that we know is those memorable opportunities for kids. But you're trying to keep it all grouped together, and now Friday night comes, and the Dogs are out there doing their thing. So again, 12-7, Lennox Orioles lead the Beersford Watchdogs. Let's get to the interview that I was able to catch up with head coach of the Lennox Orioles, Sean Flanagan, and he gave us an opportunity to kind of insight into what he thought maybe tonight was going to bring, and his transition from coaching a team in 11B and now a new job and a new opportunity with the Lennox Orioles in 11A football. So head coach Sean Flanagan. Watchdogs.live pregame show. It's a pleasure to be joined by head coach of the Lennox Orioles, Sean Flanagan. Coach Flanagan, thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Coach, let's talk first about, that transition from 11B. You're familiar with Coach Ebert and the Watchdogs and that 11B competition arena, and now you transition to an 11A football program. Maybe talk about what that might be like, kind of facing up against Coach Ebert and the Watchdogs again.
Yeah, I'm excited, the opportunity to play them. I know we've played them teams that I've coached played them in the past, so, we can expect a well-coached team and a good defense. It's going to be physical, so it's really important that we bring our best game to beat them.
Yeah, I think that probably does hit on what it's going to be, a physical game, hopefully, for both squads. Let's kind of hit on where you've been so far this season. I've got a 3-1 record, really a thriller down in Vermilion in the Dakota Dome. And then also the big rivalry game for you guys, that Black and Blue Bowl that you just lost a tough one to a good Canton squad. Maybe talk through both of those games.
Yeah, I would say the Vermilion game, we did a lot of things wrong, but the things we did right, we did them well, and, we executed well at the end, and, didn't stop believing and thinking there's a way. I mean, especially we get a block punt. They run it in for a touchdown, I think a minute left about, and all they got to do is kick an extra point to win the game, basically, with going on by one point. And, the whole second half, our defense did pretty well, but on offense, we struggled to even move the ball at all. And we blocked one point, PAT, and then, they call roughing the holder. I mean, it is what it is, and we block it again. And that shows a lot of courage by our players and, a never quit attitude. And then we get the ball back, and boom, I think we drive about 70 yards in less than a minute and score to put the game away. So I was really proud of the players and how they showed a lot of conviction at the end of that game. In the Canton game, I'd say, we just got out executed. At times we got out physical for sure, but definitely we got out executed. We were our own worst enemy at times. And I feel like we just made a lot of mistakes that we got to clean up, and we did a better job against Custer. And, we're looking to improve and get better and more consistent, on both sides of the ball and special teams.
Yeah.
Be real important.
Yeah, very good. Coach, maybe talk about both sides of the ball. Maybe just hit on a few players, maybe whether they get a lot of recognition or not a lot. Maybe who are some guys that you're kind of counting on or that have stepped up, maybe are unsung heroes. Let's hear from a few of the Lennox Orioles that you want to recognize at this time.
I thought our offensive line played better last week. We ran the ball better and protected the quarterback, which was really good. It's really important, it starts up front with those 5 guys, because if we can't block, we can't pass. And then I would say on defense, our linebackers just did a better job of reading their keys and doing their job and, fitting to space and taking away the run. And then forcing Custer to pass the ball, and, they got kind of one-dimensional there at times, and our defense was able to, get after the quarterback.
All right, Coach, it's been kind of a warm spring, early fall here. We'll maybe have some cooler weather coming. Maybe let the fans, the Oriole fans, know a hot practice. What's your go-to treat over at Chuck's Drive-In if you have a favorite over there?
I would say the chocolate swirl. Delicious.
Chocolate swirl. Okay, so
Yep.
Orioles fans, you see Coach crossing the practice field. He's looking for the chocolate swirl if you're going to get him a treat. So, hey, Coach Flanagan, we appreciate you making a few minutes for us. We're wishing you the best of luck in the game.
Really appreciate you having me.
All right, Watchdogs fans, that was head coach of the Lennox Orioles, Sean Flanagan. Again, we appreciate him taking a few minutes. Again, we apologize, fans. That was all supposed to be part of our pregame show that we were going to, start putting together at 6:30. Again, tonight, difficulties, technology just wasn't cooperating with us, so we appreciate you hanging in there with us on Watchdogs.live and trying to bring you the action. We still do have a little bit of moisture coming down. Another part of the pregame show was going to be a lot of staff members and kids. Got a couple of just little videos put together. It was meant to be something fun for homecoming week. So we're going to transition to those. So Renee James, are you ready to transition us into those 2 videos as part of what we missed in the pregame show?
And fly today, where would you go?
Greece.
If you could go anywhere in the world today.
Today?
Where would you go? Where would you fly to?
Let's go to Nashville.
The Bahamas.
Egypt. Ireland.
Mrs. Blind, where would you go?
France. Viajaría a España, Irlanda, y Costa Rica.
Hey, Berg, if you could go fly on an airplane right now, anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Australia.
You want me to say something different?
Where would you like to go? If you could fly...
If I could fly anywhere?
Anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I would go to Tatooine so I could see Luke Skywalker's first home.
Europe. Maybe Norway.
Hey, Schmeling.
Hey, what?
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
Anywhere in the world?
Yep.
Caribbean.
Where would you fly to?
Scotland. Rome. I have no idea. I'd go to some beach.
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
I would go to Edinburgh in Scotland. I've always wanted to go there.
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
Oh man. Probably Rome.
Hey, Storo.
What's up?
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
That's a good question.
Hawaii.
Will, what do you think? Hawaii?
Yeah.
If you could fly anywhere, where are you going?
I'm going to Disneyland.
Rachel, where are you going?
I'm going to Disney World.
Hey, Jared.
Yes.
If you were going to fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
I like Istanbul. Istanbul food. The food's really good in Istanbul.
Hey, Sarda.
Hey,
if you
what?
could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
I would go to Israel. No, I take it back. I would go to Rome.
Hey, Tristan. If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
Probably back home. Germany.
Today?
Mm-hmm.
California.
Mrs. Miller, where would you go?
Hawaii. Oh, Europe. Morehead City, North Carolina.
Anywhere with the beach.
Hawaii.
I would go today.
Yeah.
I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Valencia.
I would fly to the East Coast, like South Carolina or North Carolina. I've never been there before.
Florida.
Paris. I don't know.
It's a free
Where
ticket.
should I go?
It's a free ticket.
Scotland. Wherever you dream of. Somewhere warm.
Hey, J Pow. If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you fly to?
Bali, Indonesia.
Hey, Mr. Moore. If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you fly to?
I'd probably fly to Ireland.
Hey, if you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you fly to?
I'm going to Alaska.
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
I would go to Florida.
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
I would go to Greece.
Danielson, if you could fly anywhere today, where would you fly to?
Australia.
If you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
Mexico.
Hey, Ronaldo, if you could fly anywhere today, where would you go?
I don't want to have, I can give you a big email. Well, email passwords are verified by the SIM.
Elo, Hawaii.
Deef, where would you go?
Cabo.
Hey, Vanessa,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you go?
Germany to see my Oma.
Hawaii.
Let's go, Hawaii.
Heidi, where are you going? If you could go anywhere in the world and fly today, where would you go?
Greece.
If you could go anywhere in the world today.
Today?
Yeah, where would you go? Where would you fly to?
Let's go to Nashville.
The Bahamas.
Egypt.
Ireland.
Mrs. Blind, where would you go?
France.
Third quarter here. Lennox Orioles lead 12-7 over your home Beersford Watchdogs. Jared Olson, Jeff Boom, and a special guest here is Tim Greenfield. Tim, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to have you talk just a little more as Owen here tells us if our audio is okay or not.
Sounds good. Happy to be here watching the game. Would like to see the Watchdogs score another touchdown and get up on them, but overall it's been back and forth. Good game so far.
All right, Tim, for our followers, there are going to be people who maybe don't know who you are, and there's people that maybe are like, yeah, I think I maybe remember who that is. Maybe give the listeners your parents' names.
So Don and Billy Greenfield, they used to own Wasp Furniture in downtown Beersford. So, played football, basketball, ran track here in high school. So same class as Jeff.
Yeah, so you were kind of that mid-'80s, 88 graduate then, correct?
Correct.
All right, so Jeff, you were telling me stories. 2 weeks ago, we had a home game. You were telling me stories. I'm going to kind of let you guys roll here. Watchdogs will get the ball here to start the second half. That is Gavel Valder. He's going to be brought down to the 25-yard line. But, Jeff, let's take off with this.
Yeah, so, Tim, we were here in this game here. It's a familiar foe that you and I have played against several times. We're sitting in kind of a dogfight of a game. You and I have been in some dogfights, some close games. And there's one that comes to mind. We're the last Beersford team that took a trophy home, the one and only team that's played in the state championship, and we're able to take some hardware home. But tell us a little bit about one or two of your favorite memories here of being of Watchdog football.
Well, certainly winning the state championship over Flandreau conference foe who beat us on our homecoming night. That stuck in my mind, that game. So winning 7-6 in a hard-fought battle is definitely a highlight. Just the way we evolved from our sophomore year, where I think we had 9 seniors, 7 of them were out for the season within 2-3 games. So all of us sophomores thrown into the mix. And it was a rough year, 0-8. But next year we went 5-5, and the third year we ended up with the state championship. So showing the ability for a team to kind of grow is a very key thing for us.
Yep, and you definitely were an instrumental part of that playoff run as a running back, a safety, very accomplished safety too, having basically 3 years as a starter, leading tackler, probably in all 3 of those years as well. So coming in pretty accomplished. And so let's go into that state championship game. Talking about dogfights, we're going to this game. Flandreau is known for scoring a lot of points. We held them to 14 points here at our homecoming, but we're down 6-0 in the first quarter, and then something kind of magical happened for us. Walk us through a little bit of that.
Okay, so I need to step back a second. Before they scored, in the very beginning of the first quarter, we had run our patented, fake right, power sweep left, which we scored a lot of long touchdowns on, and they had scouted that a lot and were shutting us down. So we ended up running a straight lead play, the fullback leading. In this case, it was Brad Peterson, who had stepped in the week before after Mike Tiedemann went down with the knee injury. And take off. Ooh, fumble. Good recovery. He was a step slow off of the snap, so we run the play. There's a hole about 15 yards wide, it felt like, and I'm scoring right up the gut. I'm gone. And I took and put my foot down to plant, and I stepped on his heel and ate it, like tackled by my old fullback for like 3 yards gained, and I was like, okay, that was awful. Fast forward a little bit. At the quarter, they punted in the end zone, TV timeout. Coach Herron comes on and says, okay, guys, what do you want to do? And I'm like, we have to run this 24 lead again, this huge hole and all this stuff. So he's like, ask the rest of the guys, and everyone's like, yep, let's do that play. And same thing, ran the play, nice pass.
Okay, one of the few times we've seen Overly roll out to the left. Again, freshman quarterback. Coaches have always been rolling him right.
Oh, we got some laundry on the field.
And he finds there's a flag on the field.
It might be coming back.
Oh.
Continue.
So we agree to run the play. They snap it. Same thing. There's a massive hole. took it 80 yards, beat their cornerback to the end zone. Jeff comes in, kicks the extra point. We go up 7-6. The funny part of that story is after Brad tripped me in the first quarter, this time after the game we get home, we watch it on video, and I'll let Jeff explain his stellar performance on that play.
Well, I remember the play. The hole was gaping, and it wasn't as much talent as some might say that I had. It was basically a misalignment on Flandreau's part. They left a wide open hole, and Tim had picked that play when asked, and sure enough, they misaligned. Ball is snapped. I go out, and I basically didn't touch anybody as I kind of fell down trying to make a pile.
Yeah, he comes off the ball really hard, and there's no one there, and he just fell down. And I'm like, I didn't see it until after the game. We were at my house watching on a video, and Brad and I just started laughing so hard because we thought he pancaked somebody, but he just pancaked himself. So it was pretty funny.
Nothing glorious about that particular play, but the results were there. As Tim said, he took it to the house. We ended up 7-6, and crazy enough, with a team that had been averaging 50-some points a game in the playoffs, they never did score another point on us, and that was the difference. And probably one of the lowest scoring games in South Dakota championship history. And speaking of that, so Tim, you and I had played with Coach Heron. Obviously, he's a few coaches removed, but Hall of Fame coach, very well respected, I think, in the Beersford community. And through that whole season, just as we had only let Flandreau score, in two games, they scored 20 points total versus the 55 of their average. Our identity was, a lot of it was our defense, and Heron was a defensive-minded coach. Tell us a little bit about that defense and what it meant to you, having been a 3-year starter.
Yeah, so I played middle safety, and I think you're probably supposed to be about 15 yards deep, at least 10 to 12. I probably played 8 yards deep. We were an attacking defense all the time. But what I thought was ingenious of Coach Heron that season, I don't know if it was like the second or third game, we were playing a 6-2 lineup, 6 stand-up ends, 4 down linemen. Jeff was a down lineman, but with his athletic ability, he pulled him back to be middle linebacker. So it looked like a 6-man front, but it was really 5-man.
Almost
amazing catch. So we had 5 down and a 6-2 front looking, but 3 linebackers, and Jeff then played middle with the first responsibility to fill his defensive line gap. But that, I think, confused more teams and allowed us to be very aggressive, blitzing almost every play, different blitzes. So I always thought that was very ingenious how he kind of morphed a traditional defense into a hybrid.
And I think that was one of the keys to the success. Obviously, shutting a team down like that when you've got a passing defense or passing offense, running more players than they have blockers is obviously a key to success. Jared, tell us a little bit what just happened here in this.
4th and 4, 4th and 5. Orioles go for it on their own 35-yard line, and one of our defensive linemen jumped in and swatted that thing down. So Watchdogs 1st and 10 from the Orioles 37-yard line.
So, yep, Vikings. My gosh, that tells you where my heart lies in the NFL. So I've had my heart broken more times than I care to admit. But Watchdogs convert, get the ball back here. So Tim, as you described, having a defense that was attacking, we always kind of prided ourselves in shutting the other team down, and there was never too many games where we relied on our passing game. It was kind of more of 3 yards, cloud of dust. But you were responsible for a lot of those that were more than 3 yards. It was a combination of good linemen that particular year, but talented backfield. And so, just talk a little bit here about, just being an offensive back and that type of an offense.
Well, I would say, we were probably not the biggest team, but we were fast across the line. The linemen were quick and agile. The backs were fast, good breakaway speed with everybody. Even our quarterback was fast. And our first game, we played Canton, and they ran this power sweep on us, and we just did not figure out how to stop it the whole game. But Coach Heron, halfway through the season, kind of adopted it, so we would run full backfield, 2 backs and a fullback. We would fake a sweep to the right, and then we would pull yourself and Steve Weber down the line, and I would follow on a inside handoff, a power, fake sweep one way, power sweep the other. I bet we broke at least half a dozen 60-plus yard plays running that.
Similar to what we're doing right here. Nice big gain by Fickbaum.
But to that point, I don't think without your guys' athleticism to get down the line fast and kick out and do that, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So we beat a lot more teams, I think, with our technique and quickness than overall power.
Yeah, and I think that's one misconception. A lot of times when you're watching football as a casual fan, you look at it and say, well, these players are really big. You know, a lot of times speed is really what kills. Size thrills, speed kills is kind of a motto you hear in football, and there's so much of that to be true. And fortunately for us, we had players like you that had that type of speed to break away. Tim, you're coming here from Castle Rock. You've been living in Castle Rock, Colorado now for quite a while, and you've been removed from this. You played a little bit of college football in Georgetown University, but you come back here on a night like tonight, a little cooler temperatures, grass is green. Do you miss it?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about trying to grab a jersey and run out there, but I would have pulled a hamstring just jogging to the huddle, so I figured that's probably not a good idea. But I like what they're doing right now. They're playing a little bit more the counter action with the running backs, keeping them off, guessing a little bit, but we definitely look like a little bit more spring in our step on offense right now.
Yeah, maybe some adaptions that we did there at the half. Oh. Well, Tim, we surely appreciate you coming up and spending some time taking me back down memory lane. I sure appreciate it, and sure appreciate our friendship, continued friendship after all these years. Tim and I are celebrating our 35-year class reunion this homecoming, so we've got some classmates here, and it's fun just to go back and think about those days and that special year that we had.
Yeah, no, it is one of those special weeks. We appreciate, those who have kind of gone away but do make the effort to come back as part of homecoming week. I think that is something special here in Beersford. I know my hometown, homecoming is not when the class reunions are held and people don't go back. And I think that is something that is special about Beersford. A lot of floats went through today, and you see some of these people that come back, and it just really gives opportunity for those to come back and reconnect. And, it's just really fun to see old faces and names you maybe hear about, back here at the game. So I appreciate meeting you and taking a few minutes with us here and watching.
I really enjoyed just the added school spirit around from even when we were here, the big flag coming out, which we were part of holding, and just the cheerleaders. Like, there's a lot more stuff the booster clubs do, all that stuff that have really made, Beersford a strong.
All right, enjoy the weekend, what's left of it, and go Dogs. All right, Watchdogs moving the ball there, 4th and about 3. All right, fans, we are back here. Just another technical difficulty tonight. If something could go wrong, it's going to here in the booth. So this one goes on Boom's list of errors, but we are back up and hot here. So
I'll take it. Did I miss a field goal? It looks like the scoreboard's reflecting it's 10 points. And did I miss something? Okay. I just wanted.
Oh, ball's loose. Ball's loose. Watchdogs on it, 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. That was 52. Jace Adams. Ball was popped loose. Jace Adams gets on it. Watchdogs ball.
Here's another opportunity.
Who was the initial contact there?
Great big hit, number 24, Robert Watkins.
Robert Watkins on the initial contact. Jace Adams there to pick it up. Watchdog ball from the 11-yard line. Jeff, this is where we were at last time we punched it in. 1st and 10 from the 11. Watkins has been moving the ball when they get it to him.
And that was a textbook tackle by Robert. Head down, delivers a shot right on the ball. Those types of hits, when you've got your hat on the ball, 9 times out of 10, those are going to put the ball on the ground. You got to hand it to Robert there. That was about as textbook as it can get, meeting a guy right in the line.
Just talk the game.
Looks like a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Let's jump on.
Yeah, Tim's just going to stay on. We're going to get his mic going again. He's just going to talk through the plays here. So,
and so as Tim mentioned, we're like kind of what they're doing here. We're mixing some things up with the run game. Right now we're backing that down in distance we don't love. So let's see if we can get a 5-yarder or 6-yarder here. Put us back in a position where we have the option. Oh, and we just took one to the house. Gavel Waldner.
Gavel Waldner from 11 yards out. Touchdown score. Watchdogs will take the lead with 3:39 to go here in the third quarter. Gavel Waldner, 11-yard touchdown run. There was a gaping hole in the middle. He was maybe bumped by somebody. That was the most, and he dives into the end zone.
The defense really bit on the fake sweep, and they just did a little inside handoff to him. I don't know if he even got touched till the very end.
Beresford seems to be finding the groove right now. That was a good play call, good play design. We've been running those types of plays all year, but the execution hasn't been there. And tonight, what the big difference is, one of the biggest differences, we aren't playing a massive line, and we've seen that so many times in the last few weeks. This line is a little bit more like us. We might even be a little larger than them, and we've been able to push them around a little bit. And I think right now we're imposing our will that we haven't been able to do a whole lot this year up until last week. And I think the mojo and the momentum and confidence is starting to bleed over into this game, and Beresford looks to be a little more dominant on the up front right now.
Personal foul against the Orioles. I believe it maybe was leaping near the long snapper. I saw a body go up and laying there. I believe it may be on a defensive lineman or back jumping up over the long snapper possibly, but a personal foul against the Orioles. Half the distance to the goal. Retry this.
We'll give Payton another crack here. Soccer-style kicker. He's a sophomore. I don't know if we've talked about Payton a whole lot this year, but he's got a nice leg. It's been fairly consistent this year, so we've got a lot of hope here for him in the future as well.
That one is up and good. So Watchdogs 14, Orioles 12, 3:39 to go here in the third quarter. Owen, are you ready to take us to a commercial? Are we staying away from commercials? Are we staying away from commercials? Okay, we're going to stay live here. The commercials seem to be where we run into technical difficulties trying to come back out of them. We lose our audio. Jeff, what are we thinking or looking here? Or Tim, kind of what?
I was going to say the late touchdown after they bobbled that punt towards the end of the first half got some good momentum, and they've seemed to come out with that confidence, and they're just playing a lot cleaner, a lot sharper in their execution of their offense and things like that. The first half just didn't look like they were quite on the right tempo with everybody, but man, that last touchdown was a good example.
Yeah, we've been a slow starter kind of all season, and we showed that again tonight, and you weren't up in the booth earlier, but we were talking about that. And once they got that touchdown, instead of looking down at the ground, all of a sudden the chins were up, chests were out. All of a sudden there's a little bit more confidence, and it's just kind of continued weathering some storms down here on that last trip down here on the end zone, not picking up a yard. The one thing that you never stress enough, almost at any level, of having a kicker, and not saying this because I was one, but that point, those 2 points that we have right there is the difference between us being tied and us having the lead. And so, going for 2 sometimes seems like the sexy option, but a lot of times you just can continue to put that point up. You're going to get a lead. Oh, he's down. That should have been a...
That was Lucas Bonci. Ball kind of got between his legs. He picked it up. We thought maybe his knee was down. We got the replay on the screen behind us. He spun away from one tackler. He turned around, and he found Robert Watkins in his chest.
And when he picks up the ball, it looked like his knee was down, and that's probably where the ball should have been whistled dead. Unfortunately, he gets kind of twisted up, and he's standing straight up and down, spins, and that's one of those, as a defensive player, you dream of those types of situations to make that kind of hit.
Replay broken up by number 75.
Cooper Nelson.
Cooper Nelson for the Watchdogs. He read that.
That was great recognition, because that's not his job to float out there, but he saw it.
Things seem to be hitting on all cylinders.
I think that kick returner would have liked to have been called down versus that hit he took, because that was a pancake right there. Wow, great hit.
They're very fortunate that didn't turn into another turnover, actually, the way that hit happened.
2nd and 10 here for the Orioles. Cats are looking over to the sideline, looking at the coaching staff. 2 or 3 coaches signaling in with arm signals. Looking left all the way. Going to find his receiver. That is number 6, Chase Felds.
Now, what's been interesting so far, they started out the game obviously having a lot of success in the air. Enan seemed to be someone that we had some difficulties trying to cover. Really, since that first quarter, we haven't been calling Enan's name a whole lot, which kind of surprises me. But don't be surprised here if all of a sudden catcher starts to look for number 3 again.
Third and we'll call it a long one here. Catcher looks right, finds his receiver. Could be enough for a first down, bring the Orioles out to their own 43-yard line. On the catch, they targeted him earlier, Drake Mickelson, the freshman, 6'4", 185. He's the one that broke that third play of the game down the right side and scored the first touchdown.
Yeah, for a freshman, boy, he's got some really nice size. There's probably a lot you can do with him over the next 3 seasons after this year.
Pressure come, Katzer looking left. He's found a little space. Watchdogs slip. Malachi James can't quite get him. He breaks another tackle. No flag thrown. Katzer's going to take that one 57 yards for a touchdown. And just like that, the Orioles take the lead again.
And Katzer, reminiscent of a Michael Vick type of a play. You get back, it seems like everybody's covered. Linemen get a little trapped up inside trying to put a nice pass rush on. He finds a seam, and then the tackling just kind of starts to break down as you go further down the field. And poor tackling, but you got to hand it to Katzer on that one. Good athletic run there and just found his way to the end zone. So, momentum turner a little bit right there.
The one quarterback's slipping, losing his footing, might have had a shot to take him down after like 10, 15 yards, but once he got past that, it was a tough go.
All right, Orioles will stay in formation to go for 2 here.
So this 2-point conversion is very big right now. If they can get this is going to put us in a situation where if we're kicking after a score,
Katzer keeps it. He was met about 3 yards
Boy,
out.
He made it.
They do call him in. He turned and fell with his 6-foot-plus frame. He fell forward. Does get that one to go, so Lennox Orioles back up on top with 2:22 to go in the third quarter. Orioles 20, Watchdogs 14. We'll kind of stay live here because, again, we're just losing a little bit of technical issues or volume when we go to commercials. We're going to stay live here, guys. Pretty exciting. I mean, that's not what we've seen at home so far this year, and fans are really into it. Homecoming night.
Once again, you start looking at extra points. They were able to find their way into a 2-point conversion. Now if we score a touchdown, the pressure will fall back on us. Now do we kick it or do we go for 2? More than likely we're going to kick it. We've had success with that all night, and that'll give us a point back. But you cannot stress enough on those 2-point conversions and those field goals how important those can come as you get late into the game. Those first 2 failed conversions could come back to haunt them. If we score a touchdown, get that field goal, we'll be up by a point, and that could just be the difference between winning and losing tonight.
I did think it was interesting. Lennox came out and went back to the pass, spread us out a lot more, and that seemed to throw our defense off a little bit from what they had done in the previous couple series where they're attacking and getting on the ball. They're running it a little bit more. So.
Low squibber was kind of knocked down. Valder's just going to jump on it.
Boy, we've talked about this earlier in the year, just the difficulties we've had sometimes just trying to field these kicks. Now it seems like in high school the new wave is to maybe not kick it as high and as deep as maybe some years ago or decades ago. A lot more of trying to hit these line drive shots, get it on the ground, have it roll around a little bit. There's a good example of one that's really difficult to pick up and to handle.
Looks like the rain's picked up a little bit more too, which might be part of the reason behind that.
Sure.
You can see that against the lights out there, it's pretty decent coming down. So.
All right, Watchdogs 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. 2:17 to go on the clock here in the third quarter. Quick handoff. That is Robert Watkins. He's open. Coming up on the tackle for the Orioles was number 5, Ethan Larson, the senior. Watkins gives the Dogs a little breathing space here, moves the chains. Again, we found a little success with Robert Watkins running the ball here.
Yep, and I like the way he finished that run as well. He's not going to beat the guy to the corner. Robert's not a burner. the guy gets into him, looks like he's going to put him on his back. Robert just kind of imposes his will, turns him back over, lands on him, and kind of finishes that run. And that's good, aggressive, hard-nosed football that you can expect out of Robert Watkins.
That one goes to Stennon. Short gain or no gain on the plate will bring up second and about 10, second and 9.
You know, the Orioles have been playing a lot of bend but don't break defense tonight. You know, other than those big turnovers down on the other end of the field that gave us some touchdowns, they've been doing a very good job of keeping us in, obviously second long, third and long, those types of situations, not getting us on those third and shorts that we really like, that really put us in a position where we can, have an option to pass or throw. Ashton rolls out again, rolls out to the left, incomplete pass. Probably a good pass there just to get it in the ground. Didn't see a whole lot open there, and he took quite a shot at the end of that play too.
I was just thinking we've been running the ball a lot. It'd be nice to get a good pass play in there, but that was well covered, and like you said, probably good that it went in the ground, not up in the air and intercepted or something along those lines.
Yeah, and this is where you're trying as a coach not to get desperate. 3rd and 10. You know you're down by a 6. You don't want to lose the momentum. You can get into a little bit of a panic and try to run something that you shouldn't. If you listen to me, I don't like the conservative approach. I'd rather have us air one out. But this one here, you got to be very careful. Looks like they're going to stack up the defense and really come after Ashton here. They're going to get home. Oh, they did.
Yeah, he took one on the chin there.
Yeah, that was a big shot.
He had a little time, felt the pressure on his back, and then turned around, and their left defensive end came and put one on his chin, and the ball came loose. The officials are talking there. Their beanbag was thrown down.
With all these new rules, I'd really like to see a head-to-head penalty there. I get that, he's a little shorter, but was it looking at the replay, it looks like maybe it was
almost like
shoulder.
a shoulder pad hit him, but it was right under the chin. I think his head was to the side a little bit, but he snapped the head back hard.
So you hate to see those kind of shots. Of course, we've seen one on the other end of the field in a similar fashion, but when you get a quarterback there that's a little bit indefensive, it's always a little harder to watch.
All right, Watchdogs do get the punt off. Orioles return it to the Watchdog 35-yard line. 29 seconds left on the clock. Orioles lead 20-14. They're going to have the ball with the wind at their back here for the next 29 seconds before we take a quarter break.
So momentum here is really important. This is one we've got to respond. They put up a long touchdown run on us. We didn't do a whole lot there. We, took the big shot. Quarterback, you can start to lose a little gas here. So turnover is what the doctor ordered right now.
Orioles fake the handoff. Katzer keeps it, and he does get around to Watkins. Works out the far right side. Gain of about 20 on the play. Big flag comes out late. Flag came really late on the far side. Orioles were jumping up their entire...
Apparently didn't like the call. Katzer seems to be finding his groove right now. He drops back. He's totally comfortable. He's basically given up on the pass if he doesn't see his first option. And then just take off running. Extremely athletic. We can see that from the last run that he went 50-plus yards to the end zone. So he feels very comfortable running the ball. He finishes that run with a big hit, too. So you're really hoping at this point we got to corral him, get him on the dirt.
Yeah, he put a hit on the Beersford defenders. He is definitely in the groove, but it looked like unsportsmanlike is what the call was.
Yeah,
I didn't see what caused it, but it was a late flag, so maybe something from the bench or something along those lines.
I believe it must have been after the play. The first down was granted, so it's an after the play penalty.
Maybe some taunting on the sideline there, like that can happen. Emotional game like this, you maybe find a player that's doing a little taunting. The mouths start to work a little bit when you get excited like that. But
all right, Orioles pick up 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 8 for the Orioles. 3, 2, 1. We're going to hit the quarter break here and flop sides of the field. So we'll start the fourth quarter. Lennox Orioles 20, Beersford Watchdogs 14. Dogs are going to, again, flip-flop sides of the field here. They're going to have the wind at their back in the final quarter, but they're going to have to find a way to make a stop here and get the ball back and not let the Orioles take this 6-point lead any further.
This is where we've got the adversity, that we've faced a lot throughout this entire year. When we've come up short in some of these situations. You've got an 11-8 team here. We're definitely in a winnable football game. We're facing a 3-1 team. This would be a big victory. So, this fourth quarter, this team's going to have to step up. That's a young team that we're playing. We're a young team. I think right now this game, beyond the skill, beyond the size, anything else, I think this game really falls down to who wants it more.
Yeah, I think someone from Beersherd has to step up and make a big play. Hit a big hit, get a turnover, get the momentum back, because we had it going. We just talked about in the beginning of the second half how the late touchdown in the first half got on the momentum, and all of a sudden it's now switched, flipped, and the momentum's clearly on Lennox's side, so we need to figure out a way to get it back.
All right, head coach Scott Ebert, the defensive coordinator, out talking his squad about what he wants to see defensively here to start this fourth quarter. 2nd and 8 for the Orioles. They are on the Watchdog 26-yard line. Katzer's ready to go. Quick hit out to the right side. Ball does get loose. It is called incomplete. That was John DeLay on the coverage. And out on the pass there was number 43, Trey Gertis.
Yep, John made a nice play there. Got down, wasn't able to corral that the ball in, but John was there, and that's what we just need to see. We just need to have guys putting hats on white jerseys tonight.
All right, they did call like an official's timeout. The music was just left on from the booth next door, so nothing really there other than just an accident. But the Orioles coaching staff did want to take a timeout here to talk about this third down play. So 3rd and, again, 8.
Very pivotal point in the game. Beersford needs a big stop. Lennox, I think they can start to feel it a little bit right here. They know if they can get a first down, they're going to chew up a lot of clock. If they can keep this on the ground. They've had success in these 3rd and long situations, and most of them have just been a flat-out player runs out, 8 yards, stops, turns around, ball's there, or they like these slant routes. I think right now on the Beersford sideline, they're probably saying, hey, this is their tendencies right here. If you get an opportunity to jump the route, jump the route.
My worry is they're going to send a lot of people out, and then the quarterback's going to take off again because his legs have been the difference in this quarter.
Yep, you're right. He's dangerous right now on his feet.
All right, now we've got the squads back out there. The referee is in position, blows the ball ready for play. Katzer, low snap, picks it up, looks left, and does find his receiver. That is Enan again. Enough for the first down. So again, when the Orioles in a tough spot on 3rd down, they go back to their best number 1 receiver. And again, probably no surprise there that you look for your number 1 guy.
And I think right there it's a case of, hey, we're not going to get beat deep. We're going to try to keep him in front of us. But when you're in those 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 situations like that, you are down by a touchdown. Letting them move the chains, it's just one of those things. You got to come at some point take a chance. I don't know whether that was coached or whether it was just a player saying, hey, I'm not going to get beat over the top. But you got to take some chances here at this point in this game.
They hand that one off. We got a flag on the field, but they hand that one off to their senior running back. I believe it was 43, Trey Gertis.
Looked like they called holding.
And that's definitely what the doctor ordered there. We need to get them back into long situations. They've had success with the passing, so it hasn't been that detrimental for them. But we know what happens when they get into these longer situations. They can get a little greedy. Swagan had a interception there right there near the end of the first half. So this is one where, to Tim's point, we don't want to let Katzer just start running wild out here. We want to make him throw it, but we got to jump some routes.
He slings it to the freshman, connects on another pass. That was number 30. Again, we've referenced his name a couple times tonight. Drake Mickelson, the freshman, 6'4", 185.
Cover these guys. One of the hardest jobs in football, regardless of the level, is to play cornerback. You've got someone on there that's very athletic. He knows where he wants to go. and you're supposed to be able to beat him to those spots. Sometimes you have to guess. There's other times you react, and they have some pretty quality receivers here tonight, and so it's hard to stop that passing game.
Katzer kind of had an opportunity there. Run pass option. He does find his back out of the backfield. I believe that was Gertis. Again, we just referenced his name. Takes it in for the short touchdown pass. Orioles 26, Watchdogs 14, 10-18 to go here in the fourth.
Yeah, the threat of his running, he did a little fake. Our defense bit up, dumped it off. I don't know if he even got touch going in. It's the tough thing when your quarterback's that dangerous with his legs.
And if you're a Beresford fan and you've watched the last few years, this is reminiscent of what it looked like the last couple of years for Watchdog football. Athletic quarterback, can throw, can run, starts to make things very difficult. And there, the ball just slipped right through our hands.
Yeah, we had a couple defenders there. Robert Watkins jumped, couldn't quite get it, and who's trailing through the back of the end zone. Big, long drag, the length of the end zone. Porterinen catches that two-point conversion. So before you know it, now things flip here, and Orioles get a couple quick scores, and they now lead 28-14 over the Watchdogs with 10-18 to go here in the fourth.
Desperation time. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You're in a season where you've got one win. You've got a team here. You're still in the football game. You start to do some things that maybe aren't traditional, just to see if you can, get a big play, get momentum back on your side, get the crowd back in the game. And so, this is one where I hope we don't just start to do the straight handoffs and say, let's just try to go methodically down the field. I think right now you just go try hit some doubles, some triples, or maybe a home run, and start airing it out. Ashton maybe taking a lick in his wounds a little bit on that last shot, but put him right back in there, give him a chance to make some plays, and I'd just say start throwing that football around the field right now.
Back for the Watchdogs is Stenin and Valder. Kicking off for the Orioles is number 15, Wyatt Bolt.
I would like to see us do a little of what Lennox is doing, move our quarterback around a little bit on some of those pass plays, just so he's not standing back there.
Yeah, a lot of rollouts and those types of things to give him some options.
Oh, nice run. There you go.
They run the reverse handoff. Stenin hands it off to Valder. He gets around the right side. So Watchdogs are going to get pretty good field position here. Again, we referenced at the quarter break, they swap sides of the field. So now we've got the little bit of breeze at our back. Starting from our own 40-yard line, 1st and 10.
Valdner really likes the right side. Most of his returns this year always seem to be coming on the right sideline. But he's one, and we've talked about it before, if he can get the corner and hit the gas, good things happen, and here's a great example of it where he just flat out just started to outrun some of the people to the corner.
Okay, Watchdogs have Nygaard on the near side, Nyhog on the near side, and James on the far side. Little fake out of the backfield, and Oberle does find Watkins over on the right side. Picks up a few yards. It'll be about second and 8, we'll call it, for the Watchdogs.
Lennox seems to be finding a way to at least have one person always get pressure, and whether that's adding an additional person on the line, maybe a missed block, whatever it may be, but they continue to be able to find ways to get pressure on Oberle. And that's the difference. If you give him some time, he's very good at picking you apart, but we just haven't had a whole lot of time tonight to look around.
Quick pitch. This one goes out to Fickbaum. Finds a little bit of room, but he is met by the defender, number 14, Tristan Butler.
There might be a little bit of inexperience there. I think that he had more room to the outside. It looked like he maybe thought about cutting back at one point during that run, and that allowed that little half a step for the Oriole to come up, make a great tackle on him. Sometimes with a little experience, you just say, you know what, I'm just going to try to beat the guy to the sideline and just go out of bounds. Pick up one extra yard.
Yeah, we're going to call it 3rd and 4 here for the Watchdogs from their 46-yard line. Oberle is going under center, double wing. Motion here out of Stenin. Pressure coming. Oberle has to chuck it out there. That is Malachi James. Good coverage by the Orioles. That does fall incomplete. So it'll be 4th and 4 here for the Watchdogs near midfield.
I'm really surprised here we're actually sending out the punt team. You know, we're in a manageable 4th and 4. I get it, we're in the middle of the field. You don't want to give up good field position. But looking at the clock, you know, this is a situation where this could turn the tides if you can convert a first down.
I actually kind of wondered on that last play, do you play for a 4th down play and run a dive, pick up 2?
And, you know, unfortunately, Oberle gets back there, and it's a kind of a jailbreak situation. You've got linemen and linebackers chasing you down, and you don't have a whole lot of time there to
Flag
think.
was thrown near the line of scrimmage.
I thought he did a great job getting the ball off, because from this angle there's a whole pack of people running after him. And he got it in the hands, but the good defender, I think, made a play on the guy's arms, knocking it away.
Orioles return it out to the 22. Flag is on the field. We have not seen a preliminary signal yet. They are looking over to the Lennox coaching staff.
And even though Ashton's running away on those plays, and you got 5 guys basically trailing, there's this innate sense of the world's coming down upon you. Even though you think, well, you can't see them, you have a sense. You can hear footsteps, and when you've got 5 guys breathing down your neck, the pressure is on. So to Tim's point, just to get the ball out and fairly accurate throw. I mean, there was a chance there for Malachi to make a play on it.
That penalty did go against the Watchdogs. The Orioles did elect to take that penalty enforced after the punt, so they will be 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Hand off the backfield. That is number 14, Tristan Butler, the senior. Good gain there for the Orioles. That is a 9-yard gain. Will bring up 2nd and 1.
Hand it to the moving company there of Lennox. Nice hole. Tristan put his head down, picked up those extra yards. And so, when you feel a little momentum switch like this, all of a sudden that running game can get pretty hard to stop.
Motion here from the backfield. That's all a distraction to give it back to Butler again. Gain of about 6 or 7. Oriole first down, 7:50 on the clock and ticking here in the 4th.
If I'm Lennox, I'm going to keep giving it to 14 until they can stop it.
Yep.
And right now he's a thick, powerful runner, gaining 5-6 a crack.
And they're going to stick with Tristan
Butler.
Butler.
Again, get him.
And once again, he's proven he's like, hey, let's put a stop ball. But you got to hand it to the line. The holes are there. It's not like he has to hesitate and look for a crease. Basically takes the handoff. He's got a direct route right into our second level. Lennox right now is imposing their will. They're basically saying, okay, we know we've got this game at hand. If we can just churn out some first downs, let the clock tick away. This goes back to maybe on that 4th and 4 situation. If you had the 20/20 vision's easy. You can go back and say, oh, shoot, we should have went for it. You didn't know that you're maybe going to give up these yards, but you also know when you punt that ball away, you are putting yourself in a position for that team to start running the ball down your throat and just chewing up the clock.
Yeah, Butler, senior running back, 5'9", 180 pounds. Called his name a little bit, but again, now when Coach Flanagan kind of got the game on the line, and at this point he's saying, we're going to run the clock, and I'm going to put it in my senior's hands.
Yeah, he looks like the hammer out there. You're going to just keep pounding him until someone can stop him. Or worse yet, you run it multiple times, fake it to him, throw one deep, but I don't think at this point with the 2-touchdown lead you're going to risk putting the ball in the air, but it's an option.
We'll see what Coach Ebert draws up here. Head coach Scott Ebert, also the defensive coordinator. He called the timeout. He's talking to the squad. He's got to make some adjustments here. We'll see what he draws up for his squad to try to put an end to what they're doing offensively to us and letting the clock tick.
Yeah, and this line that we've talked about this earlier in the game. Their line isn't a great big mauling type of offense. So you think that we would have a little more success stopping that run up the middle, but it looks like they might be sending Watkins on a run blitz.
He kicks this one out to the left side. That is Butler, again working off the left side. It was short. It was 2nd and a half yard. Butler picks up 5 or 6. Joe Sharp is going to substitute into the game here, and they're going to bring an extra defensive lineman in and bring off Ryan Svegan.
Yep, at this point we're just going to say we're just going to put more beef on the line. And let's just say, okay, you're going to have to do something different if you're going to continue to move the ball. We're just not going to let you do what you've been doing here.
High snap. He gets it brought down, is met a couple yards in, but does fall forward, so a gain of 3. Again, those just tuning in late, Jared Olson, Jeff Boom, and visiting guest here in the booth, Tim Greenfield.
I think here, we're starting to stack it up on the line, maybe move these linebackers up. Just sure you're susceptible to a bigger play over the top, but at this point, let them have it. Just see if you can get a turnover here.
Cats are rolling, looking deep, tipped and broken up. Oh no, he picked it up and caught it. Valder tipped it away. That is number 6, the receiver, Chase Felds, the junior, 5'11", 160 pounds. Felds is on the ground. Gavel Valder tipped it away, and it landed right in Felds' hands.
Man, that was such a good play from the defender to knock it up, and of course, when it's going the other team's way, it falls in their lap while he's laying on his back.
Yep, the gratuitous bounce, as they call it. Sometimes when it's just working, and gosh, you just see a play like that and it falls in his hands. It's just kind of a heartbreaker.
And one play later, they give it back to the senior, Tristan Butler. He works off the left side as he's diving and going out of bounds. He stretches with the ball and hits that pylon. That is crossing the line. And another touchdown for the Orioles. They currently lead 34-14 with the extra point attempt or 2-point conversion coming here.
Yeah, what do you say? This is one of those really important drives to kind of see what we've got. We've seen this a few times throughout this season. Really important that you get a first down, keep the chains moving. We give the ball up, and then for whatever reason, it seems like the other team is able just to start to turn the screws to them and find their way to the end zone. After a really solid defensive stand the whole first half, we just haven't seemed to be able to keep it up in the second half.
Yeah, it seems like 2 to 3 quarters, and this one just was a little too much. Again, we gave up one, and it didn't seem like it was, insurmountable at that point. Then the second one, and now the third has come, and now the Orioles kind of put this one out of reach here with 5:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Katzer does look for his receivers. He rolls right, finds a little crease, met by 3 defenders, does fall forward. It does just get the 2-point conversion. So Lennox Orioles 36, Beersford Watchdogs 14, 5:55 to go.
This is a game, it's not over. Looks to be a little bit at hand at this point, but looking forward into the next few games, schedule certainly doesn't get any easier. We still have Del Rapids looming out there.
Let's hit on the Orioles for the listeners, kind of what they've got coming up next. So they will host Dakota Valley next week. They will then host Madison, and they will get 3 in a row at home. They'll then host West Central. So they've got Dakota Valley, Madison, West Central, and then they travel to Sioux Falls Christian. So they've got some tough competition coming here in the back half of their schedule. Next week, the Watchdogs, they got to bounce back here. They're going to take on the number 1 seeded in 11A, Del Rapids Couriers, and then we'll be back at home the following week with Sioux Falls Christian. Big opening in the middle. Big flag comes flying in from the backfield.
And this seemed like a winnable game, for so much of it. But if you look at Lennox, they're going to come away from this. They're going to be 4-1. I said they didn't have a bunch of convincing wins that they had, but they played Canton all the way down to the line, lost the heartbreaker there. And we know that Canton is going to be they're going to be a foe out there. That's not an easy team to beat. So, if I'm Lennox and I'm looking forward to this few schedules, Madison seems like a very winnable game for the Orioles. Christian, Dakota Valley, that's going to be some stiff competition for them. But they're going to be coming into this later part of the season at 4-1. Very nice record. If they can put together a couple wins, they're going to be in the playoff mix.
Yeah, when you do look at the current standings within 11A, again, we play 9 regular season weeks. So we play 1 extra regular season game. And then instead of 16 teams making the playoffs, the top 8 make the playoffs. There is the hook and ladder. They do connect it to Fickbaum. So that was a Malachi James to Fickbaum. The Watchdogs do move the ball out to midfield. But when you look top 8 currently right now, I'll just read through them by the Activity Association points. It's Del Rapids, Canton, West Central, Dakota Valley, Lennox, Sioux Falls Christian, Vermilion, and Chamberlain. Beersford slides into that 9th slot right now, and then Millbank, Custer, Madison, Lakota Tech, and Belfouche round it out. But Watchdogs are on the outside looking in right now.
Yep, definitely. This was a game that, on paper, it looks like a winnable game. As this game has progressed, you see that Lennox is got some weapons on there on the offensive side that we just didn't have answers for.
They put Oberly in the gun, and the defender did get there quick, and he is going to get a personal foul called against him. I'll give Oberly credit for a freshman. He stands in there and does take it.
The one thing that he has done extremely well since he came in here, basically 2 games ago, he does have that ability to stand in there. He's got some courage. He's only 145 pounds, but he's willing to stand in there, and even though he knows he's going to get hit, he's still going to take a shot and throw the football. I think we might have been trying to do another hook and ladder on that play too, the way it was rounding out. This is one where let's worry about securing the ball. Move these chains, at least start to work on some things. This passing game that we've got some things to build on, and we're going to need to throw against some of these teams that we're going to be facing here in the next few weeks.
Trips left, Twins right, ball is tipped. That is picked off by number 43. I believe that's another Gertis. It is. It's Trey Gertis, the senior. That one really isn't on the quarterback maybe as much. It's just a tip ball. It goes a mile in the air, and Gertis just runs under it.
Reminiscent of the Canton game. We had 3-4 of those just in the first quarter or quarter and a half. And this is one where we've got some running backs that don't have the softest of hands, so to speak. And unfortunately, when you don't put one right in the chest, for some of these guys, the ball has a tendency of getting up in the air, and those just become easy interceptions and turnovers for Lennox.
It looks like Lennox has been able to get pressure with just 3 or 4 guys rushing, and they're dropping back, 7. It just makes it tough to make a comeback when you're throwing 3 guys out and it's almost double cover each guy.
Yeah, and they know what's coming. That's the hardest part about it. It's not like, well, go ahead and run the ball. That's fine. We'll just get out of here that much sooner. You want to throw it? We're just going to load up the secondary and let's try to find some seams. And the ball in the air with that many guys playing defense in the defensive backfield is going to definitely lead into a turnover.
I believe running the ball there was Braden Harmelink, the junior, 5'9", 145 pounds. Cats are looking deep. Had the coverage there, but it was a stop and come back to it. That is Porter Enan. So Malachi James right on his hip, 40, 50 yards downfield, and Enan just planted and came back to it. And again, step to step, just wasn't a lot he could do at that point.
And if you're Katzer, I got Enan out there, why wouldn't I just throw the ball where I did? Let him stop, turn around, catch the ball. Don't necessarily have to lean him. Enan's just seems to be a tremendous athlete out there on the perimeter, and those are the types of plays they work when you've got those kind of athletes.
Okay, so they're bringing in the backfield now. The speed of the junior back, Braden Harmelink, works off that left side, runs for 12, 13 yards, enough for Orioles first down. Orioles 36, Watchdogs 14, 3:50 on the clock and ticking here in the fourth.
And the Orioles are keeping their foot on the gas. They know they got this game at hand, but they're still going for another 6 points here.
First and goal.
And they got it.
Working across the back of the end zone. I believe that went to number 6. Chase Feltz, I believe, is who caught that touchdown. Katzer was under pressure from Jace Adams. He just stepped aside and bought himself a few extra seconds for the receiver to free himself up.
Yeah, I kind of find it curious with that big a lead. You usually think about running the clock and just working it down, but they were pretty aggressive throwing the long ball. I'm sure that'll stick in the minds of the Beersford team if they ever meet up again.
Yeah, those ones the coaches remember. Unfortunately, some of the players will be gone, but if you're a freshman or a sophomore,
remember season over season too on some of those things.
Yep.
Coming back to the big guy, he is met at the line of scrimmage, falls forward. That is probably enough to no good is the signal on the far side of the field. So with 3:39 to go here in the fourth, it's Lennox Orioles 42, Beersford Watchdogs 14.
And if you're an Oriole fan and you look down this roster, lots of freshmen, lots of sophomore, healthy football program. They're going to be good, in the next few years too. They're not heavy on seniors and juniors. They're actually heavy on sophomores and freshmen. And so, when you want to build a football program, you got to have a nice mix, of underclassmen too.
All right, the Orioles are working with a new head coach, Coach Flanagan. This is his first year in Lennox, and he had good success where he came from at McCook Central Montrose. Really was able to get the athletes there to buy into what he was doing. Makes the move to Lennox with a new coaching and teaching job there. And, again, he's got some athletes and some pieces to work with, and so far making a pretty good showing here in 11A. That's Valder. He's going to keep it out to the right. Kind of looks to the middle, back out to the right. Is tripped up about the 30-yard line. So Watchdogs 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, and I think, looking now at this game as you see this passing attack, I look back at the Canton game with Beersford versus Canton. Both teams were able to kind of just say, I'm going to pitch it out along the sideline. Had our athletes there, were able to make some amazing catches. Quarterback is accurate, throws a really nice spiral. The two teams look a lot alike in that aspect, and so I could see why the score would be pretty close.
All right, Watchdogs spread out here. Again, Oberle has kind of been putting his life in his own hands here. It'll be interesting. Again, he's got a little pressure coming. It's a quick out route to Watkins, but the defenders for the Orioles have got their ears pinned back, and again, Oberle on the back side there had some pressure coming. He's lucky to get rid of when he did.
Yeah, this is one where I know what you're going to think as a fan. You're going to say, why wouldn't we throw the ball? At some point here, you also want to protect your quarterback. You've seen what's happened here in a couple of the way these drives have ended. If I'm Beersford, I might just be saying, let's just hand the football off, let the clock run out, let's just get out of here. Obviously, you want to work on some things, but right now the Orioles are pinning their ears back, like you said, Jared, and they're just going to go out, and I just hate to see us get an injury here late in a game that's kind of meaningless at minutes at this point.
Does find Tegan Nyhog, the sophomore receiver. That is good enough for a first down. I believe we're getting a signal on the near side here. Yes, it is. That is 10 yards. Freshman to sophomore connection.
Yeah, Jeff, I agree. You kind of putting your quarterback at risk. They're coming off the left side of the defense, almost untouched. Number 2, he's moving over to the right now. He's been just blitzing, almost untouched each time.
Yeah, for the Orioles, that is Carter Benning, the senior, 6'1", 175 pounds, and coming off the right side. He was right there and led up with pressure coming on the back side of the quarterback again.
Yeah, there's been 2 plays where he's actually let off. I think he understands the situation and realizes he doesn't need to do anything too ridiculous. But, as you watch him, he lines up on the end of the line, and we just don't seem to understand the scheme.
Yeah.
You can't let somebody that's on the line of scrimmage run free when you're in a passing game. So I don't know if there's something that we're not understanding in our blocking schemes, but boy, it's just hard to watch when you see somebody run free right off of a tackle.
Extra linebacker coming in on the left side.
Here they come.
They got it to Fickbaum there. Another Watchdog first down. On the coverage for the Orioles, number 8, Braden Harmelink.
I'm going to say a lot of respect for our quarterback sitting back there when these guys are just coming at him, and they're coming every play, and he's still making accurate passes about a half second before he gets hit every time.
Ball gets away, and he does just get down on it, but again, coming from that right side this time, Carter Benning, number 2 for the Orioles. Watchdogs going hurry-up offense here, right back on the line, looking at their wristbands, signals coming in from the coaches, trips right, twins left, Oberle open backfield.
There we picked him up.
There you go.
Turns into a...
Found Tegan again across the middle. Picks up the lost yards plus a few more, so we'll now get into 3rd and 8. They're calling it over the local loudspeaker here. Whistle pre-snap. Coach Flanagan for the Lennox Orioles wants a timeout to talk to his squad. 1:47 to go here on the clock. Lennox Orioles 42, Beersford Watchdogs 14. Coach Flanagan is not worried about losing the game at this point, but there is something he clearly want to talk to his squad about after the Watchdogs make a few connections. Freshman quarterback to sophomore receiver a couple times.
And you watch this, and you don't want to ever be too critical of the coaches. They're obviously out there with the players and understanding what their scheme is. But you get here in the late part of the game, and now all of a sudden we're spreading them out. We're putting receivers out on the left, receivers out on the right. We're finding some success throwing the football. Even though they know we're going to throw it, at some point you say, where was the urgency a little earlier in the game? Could we have made an adaptation earlier just to say, hey, we're only down by 6, we're only down by 12, and then start to spread them out and try something different.
Well, I was actually thinking, too, that freshman quarterback, just running this type of offense in a real game, getting some experience, not going to help you in this game, but maybe next game or the game after that.
And maybe that's what the whole point of this is, too. Let's just do some things and let him see something. And I think part of it, too, is we spread them out. It takes away a little bit of that, hey, we're just going to stand up there and blitz the heck out of you. You can see already the pressure is off a little bit because we've got to spread their defense out a little bit further, and we just can't let the linebackers just step up and just go hard.
Watchdogs do sub in here. Levi Fitzgerald in the receiving corps. 4th and 7 here for the Dogs.
Quarterback draw.
Design quarterback draw, and he just can't quite get away from the defender. That is 14. We referenced him early on the offensive side of the ball. Tristan Butler playing both sides for the Orioles, and he will force a turnover on down. So with 1:40 to go on the clock, Orioles will come out. And the fans for student section for the Orioles is kind of doing the na-na-na-na stuff. And they know what's happening here. Orioles will bring out, looks like maybe a JV squad here.
Well, and we're getting a little bit of payback. Last year, Watchdogs rolled into Lennox. I believe it was their homecoming. The game was pivotal. They made some personnel changes and put some people in some positions that really catapulted the season. Scored like 55 points on them there up in their field. So it might sting a little bit when you hear the na-na-na song, but last year it was on the other foot, and so sometimes paybacks kind of come around.
You remember things year over year. That's the thing about rivalries between Beersford, Lennox, Beersford, Ken. I was all the way back from us, even before us. It's deep. The dislike, the call it hatred, whatever it is. You're brought up knowing that you don't like either one of those schools. So
we do have Katzer, Enan, Mickelson, and Butler out there. Again, they are in victory formation. Clock is ticking. They're going to just take the knee here. Watchdogs are doing their thing and just letting them take the knee.
So potential tough season ahead, looking at where the record might end up. I go back to what we talked about many times. Our sophomore year, 0-8. Junior year, 5-5. Senior year, 10-2 and state champions. Sometimes you have to go through a tough season with a young quarterback, some of these younger guys, and you learn by taking licks and grow, and you just have to keep working at it each year and not give up on it.
Well, if you look at the amount of juniors that are getting playing time this year, freshman quarterback, building blocks for the future are definitely in place. And you know what? This is just going to be a one of those years. The Dell Rapids, some of these other teams are still loaded. Tough conference to be in, and so we look forward to next week.
Yeah, next week we will travel to Dell Rapids, so Watchdogs fans, that game will be in Dell Rapids, 7 o'clock kickoff. And then the following week, October 6th, Watchdogs back at home, Sioux Falls Christian, just up the interstate. This is one I think could be another really great game, or an opportunity to maybe try to keep it close and on paper maybe have a chance to play one out that sticks in there to the third or fourth quarter potentially. So we look forward to that one as well. 2 weeks from now, back home. Again, varsity games here at Beersford High School. Just tune in to watchdogs.live. Jeff, always great to have you on. Tim, appreciate meeting you. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much for allowing me to ramble on here in the second half with you guys.
Okay, we've got our whole production crew here, and they were working kind of behind the scenes. We didn't get to go to commercials and come back. Again, just the technical difficulties. But our crew there, I'm getting the wave to wrap it up. So this is the crew here at Watchdogs.live. Dogbowl Entertainment signing off. Thank you.